Hi guys, we are back with Reckless by Lauren Roberts. This is book two in the Powerless Trilogy, so this is a weird place to start because this is also episode two. We have now read through chapter 24, and we are going to talk about everything that we just read. I'm going to kick things off because I don't know why I think it's still Stockholm Syndrome. I am loving this book. Why am I loving this book? The reason that I'm loving this book is because every single scene with Kai and Peyton is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And you know what? I think it's because I went into this book thinking they're going to hate each other through this whole book. I'm not going to love it. There are not going to be scenes that I'm going to eat up. And then, like, in the last section, I probably could have talked for another 3 hours about the rooftop scene. And I was worried that that's all we were going to get for a while. And have they made out again? No. Am I upset about that? Kind of. But at the same time, the scenes that we have been getting in this section alone, I'm like, oh my goodness, give me more. I'm going to shove my cold feet into your legs and you're just going to take it. Like, that was so cute. Tell me that wasn't cute. Did you guys love that? Does
That
anyone
was
else do that
cute.
to their partner? Because I do it all the time. So maybe there was also like a little bit of like, yeah, I'm also the cold feet person in the relationship.
I mean, yeah, totally relatable. I'm definitely that cold feet person that likes to sneak it under their
Right.
partner's skin. Yes.
Your legs are warm. I need that warmth.
Yeah.
It was so cute. And
It was really cute.
my other favorite thing is like we also got like a one bed at the inn trope, and like they did it wrong, but it was also really cute. It was really cute. I did want to throw the book a little bit when he slept on the floor, and that's just where the chapter ended. But at the same time, we are getting such cute scenes of him like fixing the cut that, yes, he put it there, but he still like he mended her cut, and she's going through some really dark moments, like really like PTSD moments, and he is being so sweet, like that moment in the prison cell. Like, guys, I could go on forever. Someone stop me. Tell me what you loved about their moments, please. Please and thank you.
Elena.
Silence. They hated it.
No, I don't hate it. I definitely think the best part of this section is the moments between them because I also went into this book just assuming they were going to hate each other. So it's nice. And I also either that they were going to hate each other and or be apart for like most of the section. So like the fact we've gotten a lot of them together still has been nice. Um yeah, that's the plot I'm
I
still a little questionable on.
The plot is definitely still questionable, and we need to get to that. I when you said that they've been together for a lot of this book, I was so worried when we were in the desert and the resistance came and saved her. I thought we were just gonna leave him there, and I was like, no, take him with you. I need more scenes with Kai and Peyton. And they did, and I was like, thank God. We're good. We're still okay. Elena, tell us about the resistance. How do you feel about the resistance and them coming in and saving our girl Pay?
I feel like I can't start at the resistance because if I start at the resistance, I'm gonna start talking about Callum.
Go off on what you want to. You just pick something and you go for it.
I feel like the worst part of this section has been I've been reading and I don't always like look at like I don't fully read whose thing it is. I think I just like scan my eyes and I see a K or a P. And so I'll start reading and be like, what? And then it's Kit. I'm like, why is Kit here being an emo queen? Like, what is he doing?
He's the queeniest king, for sure, and not
I'm
even
just
in a good
gonna throw
way.
my food out a window. Oh, fresh air. I haven't felt fresh air in hours since my last meal that I threw out the window. But no one notices. There's no way they see the pile of food.
Um, yeah. We also learned in this section that he like hasn't even addressed his people. Like he has not left this room since his dad died. Like his dad died and he immediately put himself in this room and has not left. And I think has it been like a week, maybe a week and a half? So
It's
it's still early days, but that's a long time to be in a room when you're supposed to be running a country.
Well, and multiple people have tried to get him out, like, the scene with Andy I thought was really cute when she went
Yes.
up to him, um, but back to, like, the resistance, I was actually happy when the resistance came because the alternative was Hayden's stupid plan to be like, hey, Kit, I can give you your brother back. Just, call off the hunt for me." Which is somehow a worse plan than the Resistance's initial plan.
Yeah, yeah, and that was like that was still like a resistance plan because that was Lenny's plan, right? Lenny was like,
Yeah.
let's give them Kit in return for Peyton's freedom. I was like, what? What awful plan is this? Like, in what world does that work?
We'll meet up with them, tell them not to bring guards. Like, I'm
And
sure Kit wants Kai back enough to let me go. And Kai's like, doubt.
yeah, which simultaneously was really sad about how Kai feels he stands with his brother, and then sad for Peyton about how much Kit hates her that he would rather kill her than get his brother back. Um, yeah, it was a really bad plan. I was like, are we just going to like pinky swear, like, oh yeah, you gave me my brother back, so I promise I'll never come after you again? What?
No sense. A
Oh, so
lot of
yeah,
his plans.
it wasn't that the resistance came, it was that whatever his name is came. That's a good
Lenny?
point. No, 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 no. What stopped the dumb resistance plan was that whatever his name
Oh,
is took them. It
Raphael.
wasn't, yeah. Because I was
What
like,
a
oh, that the
weird
resistance came,
twist.
but it wasn't. I just
Yeah.
has been. Is Lenny okay? Like, we never found out what happened to everyone else that was there.
I
Yeah, we
don't
don't know yet.
know. I can't picture a world in which there's this entire warehouse full of people, and then all of a sudden, Kai and Peyton are taken. Like, how did that go down? Because he was like, "Oh, the guy watching overnight, must have fallen asleep," and I was like, "There were at least 30 other people in that room. Like, where? Huh?
Plus, they were saying that Peyton was drugged.
Yeah. By
With,
who?
right, but the food was given by Lenny's mom, so she must have been in on it.
Maybe? I honestly don't know."
Apparently, there's traitors everywhere. Vis-a-vis everything comes back to Callum.
Yeah, I think at this point we can question a lot of people's loyalties. So, like, let's go right to Callum. What do you guys think? Whichever one of you wants to chime in first. What side is Callum on at this point?
Is it bad that I read that section and it was like, Callum, is there another character named Callum? Is this the same Callum?
The one we thought died?
Yeah, I did not have that reaction, but I do love that that was your reaction.
I was just like, it doesn't make sense. And then I like went back to the first book to be like, how is he in the resistance, but Kit doesn't know it because he was the one that was doing the talking. And like he did have a mask on, but it was like you would think it would I would say you would think that Kit would recognize his voice, but our powers of perception throughout these books do not be great.
That is very fair. We definitely do live in a world where like memories are questioned. So I think that it's not out of the realm of possibility that Callum was speaking and like Kit and Kai both didn't realize it was him. I think that we could probably suspend our disbelief that that could be the case. They don't mention like there's no mention between Kit and Callum like, "Oh, hey Callum, remember that time you were in the resistance? Like thanks for getting all that information for us." So yeah, it's hard to tell like what Kit knows and doesn't know, but I do wonder what the situation would be with Callum being in the pit and then somehow getting out of the pit without being caught. Like that I I don't know how that would work personally.
Well, and Lenny like makes a throwaway comment being like, "Oh, everything went wrong. It's like they knew all our plans." So it's
That's interesting. So do you think that Callum and Lenny are on the same side and possibly working for Kit now? And they're trying to serve Peyton up to him on a silver platter?
No, I don't think Lenny is. I just think, like, Lenny says that it seems like there was a mole, so then it might make sense that Callum would have been the mole. And then I if the king knew that the resistance was gonna do it, he would probably have let them do it just to make them look bad.
Mm, yeah.
I'm just not sure like what Kaylin's end goal is.
To be king. It's always to be king.
It's possible, but then like how would he have known that the king would have like the kid and Kai's dad would have died?
Well, so I think our two options, right, are that Callum is actually part of the resistance, like believes in the resistance, wanted that to work out, and has now re-infiltrated the kingdom. Or he was getting information on the resistance to then feed them into the wood chipper in that dumb resistance plan. Because like we all agreed that resistance plan was real dumb. So that could be why the plan was really dumb. Because Callum was like, oh yeah, let's do this, it'll totally work, knowing that it wouldn't. Because they do say that like the numbers that they had on like the numbers of wow, I just totally blanked on what they're called.
Imperials.
Inquisitors was the only word that was coming to my mind. I was like, the Imperials, like they said that their numbers were all wrong, so they had like faulty information coming from inside. Do you guys both believe that Callum has always been the mind reader for the king? Because that's my understanding. Because we never got a name,
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what it
I
seems
think
like.
it's mhm.
and there's theoretically only supposed to be one. So if it wasn't Callum before and is Callum now, what would have happened to the other mind reader kind of thing? But
I think it was
yeah,
Callum because Kit makes it seem like Callum's been his dad's advisor for like ever.
right.
Yeah.
Like he's been around. So my theory at this point is that Callum is in line with it and has been working for them, fed the resistance to the wood chipper,
Mhm.
personally.
Seems like he's like kind of like the puppet master in a way. It seems like he's leading Kit to something that he wants to do.
Yeah. And part of why this is my theory is because we have to talk about what Callum and Kit did and discussed in chapter 24, which is that Callum is basically doing the thing that I think it was Jamie's theory from the last section, passes him what has to be an engagement ring box and is like, you're gonna have to do the thing. And Kit's like, oh, you're right, I am gonna have to do the thing. So do we all think that the thing is that he is going to have to force Peyton to marry him? No.
I assumed it was like Blair or someone. It doesn't make sense to marry
Oh.
Peyton.
Well, right. But we brought that up, right? Jamie, wasn't that you that you were like, why would he want her alive and not dead? And is it to
Right.
get her to marry him?
But it
I
just
don't know
doesn't make
why.
sense.
Yeah. I just don't know. For what?
Like for
Why?
what? Like why would that be his duty? Like, because I think we did talk about that last episode, and it was more of a just like Kit being Kit. Like he wants to marry her, not like a he has to marry her for the kingdom.
So what would Callum's angle be? Like, so you think it's Blair? Like it's just gonna it's just an advantageous marriage, but then why?
Maybe it's like Callum's niece or something. Maybe they're like randomly related to each other. I don't know. But the other thing that I've been wondering about Callum is like we know he's a mind reader, but can he like alter people's memories? Like, is it just mind reading? Do we
Mm.
know? Because like if he could alter people's memories or like even like impact their thoughts, like it might explain. how Kit could just be grieving or it could be exacerbated. It would explain all of the dumb forgetting that's happening.
That's
True.
fair. I
Hmm.
would love to give Kit some benefit of the doubt here. Like, oh my boy, I'm so sorry that every single time I saw your name in the POV spot, I cringed a little bit and questioned, could I skip the chapter? When really part of your insanity was thrust upon you by someone else. I would feel bad and love it. I would want to. My guess is it's unlikely, and Kit's just not dealing well. That's my thought. I think the other part of this too is like I keep questioning the king's involvement. So like if Callum is infiltrating the resistance, is he doing it at the king's request? Like is the king making him become part of the resistance to get rid of the resistance? And then how is the
Hmm.
king using that with the whole Payton thing?
Head empty.
Same. Wait, did we mention that Caleb has a daughter? Sorry, did I miss that?
Callum has a daughter?
Yes. Uh, Blanking on the name though.
We meet her that one time
Yeah.
when
Oh.
Peyton goes to the
In
meeting.
in the basement, you know.
So maybe that's who Kit's supposed to marry. I
That's
know
where
it
I was
feels,
leaning towards.
yeah. I just,
Because I
I
feel
just
like
think that,
if he was trying to make it where it's Kit and Peyton, that would I feel like that would more signify that like they're unifying elites and ordinaries. But I don't know if that's Kaylin's endgame.
doesn't seem to be.
I mean, that would be a really good way to bring the ordinaries to heal, though, right? If you're like, look, we're like, ordinaries are fine. We put one into the royal family, but like, you all need to do what we want you to do.
But none of their pitches
No.
ever ordinaries are fine. It's always ordinaries are bad. And we finally got a little bit more to that it does reduce their power in
Yep.
like a population sense. Still a bad reason, but I felt like it could have been explained a little bit more clearly earlier on, just about how kids born between ordinaries and elites.
Oh, you mean about like the partials and the mixes and how that
Yeah.
was just like randomly brought up? I was
Yeah.
annoyed about that actually.
Yeah, like, because 'cause they've been, like, alluding to it forever, and they were finally like, "Oh, by the way, here's some kids that, like, have half power."
Yeah, and it just seemed like the way that it was introduced just seemed like it was supposed to be common knowledge.
Yeah.
I actually took it the opposite way. To me, I understood it like this is another thing that the king has like a truth that he has swept under the rug. Like, why would you even mention mixes when they shouldn't be a thing? Like, because in his world, they won't be. Like, ordinaries just, they're either gone or they're gone. Um, so I thought, like, plot wise, it was like, yes, okay, we're introducing this other like element of the world a little late in the game, but it kind of made sense if it's like one of those things we don't talk about, and they're all being hidden in this place that we just found. But yeah,
But you would think people would know, like, there's enough like, you just if there's so
Like
many
there's
hidden
like
in
a
plain sight, you would think people would know that, like and, like, why wouldn't that be a talking point? Like, "Oh, if you, like, marry an ordinary, your kids are gonna be weak." Like, it feels like that has been alluded to, but they just haven't said directly. I don't know.
especially if it's like a bigger population of like ordinaries, you know. And because I'm sure there are mundanes who don't have like that full power, who are also like mixes or partials.
Yeah.
Percentages. Is that what they were calling it?
No,
Percentages.
mixes. Well, they were saying they have like a percentage of magic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that another reason to keep the mixes under wraps is that they almost prove that there really isn't an actual disease. Like ordinaries and elites can be together, and like it just, it does what genetics do, which is like all magic plus no magic equals some magic. Like that's, but I thought the scene was cute at least. Like I liked learning about like that new part of the world. Um and it made me hopeful, and also I really wanted Kai to be like, "Huh, I wonder what my kids with Peyton would be." No, don't think about that, and he didn't, and I was upset.
Wait,
I
to
think
go back to go back to like partials and mixes, like if you think about it, if you have like an elite and like I don't know, like someone someone who made an ordinary, like an ordinary child, and if you think about like genetics, right? At one point, you will have like partial. It's just weird to me that like it wasn't really talked about
Yeah,
in Loot, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry, go
We'll
on.
see if they like play a bigger role. Like I'd be interested to see if this is sort of like the only time that we hear of them, but my hope is that it's a bigger plot element now, that like maybe there are more of them out there, and it's the reason
Yeah.
to prove that there
Like,
isn't disease.
is it possible that Peyton is also a mix and she just doesn't know it? Because
no, because
I think we
I would
talked
sense
about
it.
this too. Yeah, no, but he didn't even sense it for like I remember in his POV, he didn't realize that they were like a mix with like a percentage.
Well, but then now he would, I think, because now he knows what they
Yeah,
feel
now he
like.
will.
Yeah, I think now he knows how to hone in on the percentage part.
Hmm.
Sure. That's okay, because at least by the end of this book, he'll be on our side, so it'll be fine.
Yeah,
Um,
that section also brought up that like elites like that have really good powers if they marry each other have kids with really good powers, which I feel like ties back to the king just being a brawny and his wife just being like an electricity person.
I still have so many doubts that they're actually their parents.
I think it like almost made that more likely that they're not their parents by highlighting it.
Yeah, like I
Mm.
don't think we found out what Kit's mom was. I don't know that we ever knew that, but I
No.
do still really doubt that like Kai is actually the child of the current queen and deceased king.
It feels like we're not making a lot of plot progress, as in we found out that he has a random dead sister at the beginning of the book, never brought back up. Mac
Yep,
is still missing.
missing.
Um,
I will say at this point, I've convinced myself, just so that I can get over it when it inevitably happens, that we're never seeing Mac again. He's never coming back. It's not happening. For those of you that are in this and haven't read Powerful, we're going to spoil that. Possibly more than we just did. Leave now if you want to.
I don't know. This section
That
kind
would
of didn't.
really. What
What?
were you gonna say? Oh,
No,
I was gonna say it would be really, really disappointing if he doesn't show up at all. Because I feel like he has so much potential.
as
And
Kai's half brother or whatever he's gonna
Yeah,
be.
like that, or like how is it that he was introduced in the novella, and then all of a sudden in this book too, we get a family tree.
that's fair. It better not just be for the dead sister we've mentioned all of
How
once.
how is it that he has the same power as Kai, and their names start with M. Both their names start with M and N and I. Is it? Oh, wait, a vowel.
Vowels.
Malachi and Makoto.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does feel like there really should be something there, and I will hope that there will be something there. Um, to be fair to the first two sections of this book, we really haven't been in loot all that much, so I understand why we could bring him in when we come back. It's like, ah, yeah, here's Mac.
If we
Literally,
come back,
If we come
the
back,
arrows when the
yep.
resistance were coming, I was like, is this gonna be Mac? Like, is that what's that doesn't make any sense, but I was like, I'm just waiting for Mac.
looking for Mac in all the wrong
No, it
places.
was something else
To be fair,
entirely.
the resistance scene also didn't make a ton of sense to me because like she's good friends with Lenny, but like the other people, I barely recognized their names, and she was like, "My best friend, it's Adina, come back to life."
I think the thing is you have to remember that there was a mention of all of the times that she spent with the resistance that we just didn't see, which I do think that was not the best. Like I think that we should have seen more scenes with the resistance in the first book, but it's just
Yeah,
very glossed over. So we have to assume that they all became very close in that amount of time.
they were just so chummy that it threw me off, and I'm just like, there was like Finn. I'm like, who? I barely remember the other girl.
Yeah. At the very least, I liked their personalities. Like, I liked their
Yeah,
characters. I enjoyed the addition, and I hope that we don't just never see them again now. Like, I hope that they're going to be bigger presences in the story. Um, I was so happy when we saw Lenny again, though. Like, I love Lenny, and I really didn't
Yeah,
think that he would just like die off screen and we'd never hear about it. But I was very happy that he showed back up.
I do like
yeah.
Lenny.
It it did give me a little bit of whiplash because I feel like this entire like it was 10 chapters that we were in, or 11 chapters. There have been 3 different hostage situations. Kai took Peyton hostage, then Peyton rebellions took Kai hostage, and now both Kai and Peyton are hostage. And I'm just like, how many more hostages can we be?
Yeah. Do you guys have any thoughts for
We're
like
only
the Raphael
halfway.
situation? Yeah.
For what situation?
For the Raphael situation, like how are we getting out of this and why is it through the stinky sewer?
Maybe there'll be like another brawl.
They're in a shoebox, so I don't know how they're gonna brawl in the prison cell.
I don't know, but I was quite unhappy to turn the page for chapter 23 and remember it was a Kit chapter so that we didn't find out.
Remember when we thought about YOLOing going to chapter 25 and seeing if anyone noticed because we didn't want to end on a Kit chapter? Yeah. I'm sad that we didn't do that.
True. I'm kind of glad we didn't because now it's kind of up in the air what's gonna happen. But I feel like from a plot perspective, it would make sense if they don't escape and like that's how they get back to Ilya, just because then Kai isn't the one handing her over. So like it's less of a thing, I think, when he ends up choosing her side. Like then they both go as hostages. That being said, I think they're definitely gonna escape. So it's gonna be back up in the air what he's gonna do.
Yeah. It
Is
just
Kai locked that he can't use his powers if there were other powers around? Can't remember.
no,
No,
he
he
can
can,
use his powers.
but there just aren't
That's how
people there
he
right
can.
now
Okay.
because
So
all of
maybe
the
when he gets
Imperials are
closer.
dead.
Oops.
Yeah, because they're still
Oops.
indoors, so there just really isn't anyone for him to use the powers of. But he did mention that the cells were not made of mute, which is what he's used to in
Mhm.
Ilya. So if anybody got close with powers, he would be able to use them. So maybe that's how.
Yeah.
Um, we mentioned Kit again, and I want to go back to Kit real quick because guys, are we being too hard on Kit? Like, all right, hear me out. Let me devil's advocate this real fast. He
Elena's instant
lost.
no.
He lost his dad
His
to
dad was
murder.
awful.
He was
His dad was a
crushing.
murderer.
But he is Stockholm Syndrome to his dad as hard as I am Stockholm Syndrome to this book series. And I just think that, are we being
I
too
wish.
hard on poor Kit when this is the first hard thing he's ever had to deal with in his life? And it was really hard. Dad,
Yes,
girl
it
he
was
had a
really
crush
hard
on.
for him. I just wish he was more loyal to Kai.
Yeah.
That's
He
exactly
has
it.
gone through, yeah. And I
Like,
can't recall if they actually talked about it, but like
Barely.
he's seen like post torture Kai.
Yes.
yeah, that's exactly it. Like, if his dad died, like, I understand him being sad, but I just don't think he should have loyalty to his dad at this point. Understanding, like, he's acknowledged, like, oh, yeah, what dad's done isn't the best. Like, with Hayden, like, he's had those moments. And then, like, he should just be more loyal to Kai. Like, he should be upset with what Kai's gone through, and he's not.
So is there a world in which Kit makes it up to Kai? Like is able to realize that he's asked too much of Kai at some point and is like, I'm so sorry. Don't worry about it anymore. I'm going to be nice from now on. Sorry about my weird grief. And then we like him again.
Maybe. Seems unlikely because we need a villain.
But we've got Callum
Kayla.
now,
Yeah.
possibly.
That's true.
I would like that for Kit if his
Yeah.
if he could be redeemed.
And we think that Callum is just trying to get Kit to marry like Blair or someone.
Someone.
I'm worried. I have a worry.
What's your worry?
I'm just worried about how Peyton is going to get used in this. And I agree that I don't know how it would make sense to force her to marry Kit because like all of his offspring then would be mixes, which like
Mhm.
Callum would know about, like the people in charge would know about. I don't know why it makes sense to make her marry Kai either. Um yeah, I just don't know. It just makes me nervous and it makes me feel icky and I don't like. The other thing that I keep coming back to is what the king's whole thing with Peyton is. And Kit, I think it was in Kit's latest chapter, maybe like in his second to last chapter, just made me think of again, like what was the king using Peyton for? And is it possible that if the king and Callum were working with the resistance, like did the king set up the whole resistance plan? Like the pit plot to get Peyton on treason charges to then have her murdered in front of Kit to then harden Kit to be a better king.
Maybe. I've been thinking it's more the king kept her alive because she was feeding the resistance information, and then they were gonna like do their little thing and he could eradicate them, and at the same time Kit would be upset because she betrayed him.
Mm-hmm.
So like the king knew that she was gonna betray him.
Yeah. There's no world in which like the king sacrificed himself and allowed Peyton to kill him, is there?
So
I just
I
keep
think it's
having
like
these
Elena
moments.
said. Yeah. But like he underestimated her.
His ego is so big.
That's what I said about Kit too. Because all those times he's like, "Oh, I like it when you call me king," and then correcting Andy for calling him king. And I'm just like worried that it's that ego is gonna get to him. And I don't know if it's like a power hungry thing. It's more like maybe like a title, or it could go hand in hand.
I also felt like the king underestimated Peyton at the end of the book. But have you guys felt like Peyton is not living up to expectations, like with her powers in this book? Like her just like trying to run across the alley and then Kai just like getting her with a knife and her being like, "Oh, you got me." I was like, "Really? What? Like
I feel like it's
did she have any right to kill a king?" Like
I don't know, this book specifically has been annoying. Not that Hayden's been disappointing. I mean, she hasn't really been doing any psychic stuff, but she's like unstoppable to anyone but Kai. It's like Kai's like, oh, I can hit her with a knife from a mile away, but anyone else, like, she demolishes.
yeah, I don't know. I just started wondering, like, did I have an inflated sense of how cool Peyton's like physical combat abilities are? And is there something there? Like, did the king let her kill him? But then I'm like, no, the king would never just like abdicate his throne in order to make his son like crazy and mean. But I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out because there's got to be something.
I would like to see more of Peyton using her psychic skills.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like Peyton Fight Club was really cool. I did really like that, and
Yeah,
I
that was
I
cool.
assume that she used those powers to like take down all of those guys.
If only she had used it when she met up with like that resistance crew. I don't know if she would have caught on that they were like been contaminated the food that she ate, but or at
Yeah,
least like gotten something that something was off. Like I don't know if Lenny's mom was in it with Raphael or whatever his name is. Because they she was definitely drugged. And
that's what
then
they say. I think the question is just like who was drugged and how did it happen?
mhm. But
But
at least Kai and Peyton are in a cell together. That was
yeah,
cute.
it was cute.
Holding hands back to back.
Oh God. Him holding her hand, and then when she stopped holding his hand, and he was like, "I'm not upset. I'm definitely not upset. This is not upsetting." And I was like, "Oh my God, buddy." Ugh.
I
What
will
about
say, oh, what about what?
oh, I was just gonna say, what about when they didn't do the one bed trope, but then they immediately, every night since then, have been like, gotta share a sleeping bag just for security purposes.
Yep. Just to keep an eye on you right next to me. Elena, I'm not even upset. I'm not even upset over the fact that it doesn't make sense. It doesn't have to make sense. I love it. I love it so much. I want more sleeping bags. Sorry, that was a confusing sentence. I want more scenes in one sleeping bag. Definitely no more sleeping bags. We only need one sleeping bag.
They are really cute together. I think that's the only reason why I'm able to keep going. Is because of their cute scenes together.
I also want to know what this plot is doing. Like, I feel like I'm eating popcorn and I'm just like, I'm starting to get
What?
nauseous over how much popcorn I'm eating, but I have to get to the bottom of the bucket. I have to know.
I
I have
just
to
feel
know.
like we're gonna like climb up this mountain of this book, like get all the way to the top and be like, oh my god, we figured out the plot. It all makes sense. But then instead of like it all making sense at the end, it's just gonna be a cliff of like more things that don't make sense.
Or we then have to play capture the flag when we get to the top of the mountain. That's what we have to do.
Would you rather like things not make sense or things left unanswered?
I I don't care as long as it's entertaining.
There.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had a good time.
Yeah, right? As long as you enjoy the ride, that's all that matters.
Yes. I have books like that too.
Yeah, honestly, I'm here for it. Even like Peyton being afraid of horses, hilarious. Like, oh my goodness. I don't care what the reason is for the two of you riding the same horse. I just want you riding the same horse.
I did laugh out loud when Kai was like, of course she got a knife. I don't know where she got this knife.
Her being able to steal that knife and then somehow drop it into her boot in a way that he wouldn't notice at all until she held it to him, totally unbelievable. I don't care. Yeah.
That showcases her thieving skills, you know?
Yep. Yeah. I will say too, like for all of like the weird plot holes and stuff that like will they be filled? Who knows? Like I do feel that I I like his character progression in this. Like I feel like he is really thinking through things and like taking the time to be like, huh, like maybe I don't care that she killed my dad because he was awful. And like, oh, interesting, I'm meeting mixes and like maybe like the disease isn't a thing. And I appreciate the time that we're taking for Kai to naturally get to the point that I have to assume is coming where he's like, I'm now on the other side. Like I can't kill ordinaries anymore. Like this is not gonna work.
Yeah.
I like all of it except his, "Huh, I guess I did kill your dad. I do recognize that room now."
I'm gonna devil's advocate this.
Make it make sense. Explain it in a way that's believable.
I got you. Trauma. That's it. It's one word. It's trauma. We just have to assume she traumatized the king's face over Kai's face when he killed her dad. We have to assume that Kai's trauma from killing a man at 14, just like he forgot. I did appreciate that there was a real scene where he was like, oh my God. And like it came back to him. Like I appreciate that he wasn't like, oh yeah, no, of course I remembered, but oh, that was her dad. Weird. Like I appreciate that he's like, oh crap, I was in that room. Like whoa, like wow. Like so he remembered later than I think he should have, but it felt believable in the moment to me.
It definitely felt more believable than Peyton being like, "Oh, it wasn't the king that killed my dad,"
Yeah.
Yeah,
but still stretching.
yeah. But as long as they keep sleeping in one knapsack, sleeping bag. I was like, did you guys call them
Bedroll?
knapsacks as children?
Not
Is
no.
that a Massachusetts thing? Yeah. As long as there's only one sleeping bag, I don't care. Any other theories for what is coming down the pike in this book?
We never see Mac. Um, Kit keeps being the worst.
Mm,
Vest has no other significance.
yeah, I'm
It's
starting to believe
like
his best.
hidden significance. Who's 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 said to be dead but actually alive?
We got Callum. Callum. Well, it wasn't that he was dead, but he was supposed to be a prisoner who then would have been dead. But that felt too good to be true because we didn't see his body.
Right. Adina?
No,
Could she
she's
come?
dead, dead.
Could she come back?
I think
We
she's
see her
definitely dead.
soul leave.
We did actually kind of see her soul leave her body.
So sad.
Yeah.
Spoilers to
Peyton's mom.
Powerful.
Peyton's mom.
We don't know anything about Peyton's mom, so maybe. We still don't know anything about Jax's parents, but also we haven't seen Jax all book.
He at least got mentioned.
Yeah.
Andy was like, Jax misses you. So I am hoping that we're going to see more of Andy. Definitely some of Jax. And maybe we see Blair in a wedding dress in the next section. Gross.
I don't think there's that many kid chapters in the next section.
No. Um yeah, I genuinely don't know where this is going. Like I'm kind of on the ride for this one. I don't know if we're going back to Ilia. I don't know if we're hanging out in Door. I don't know.
Can we go to one of the other cities? They keep bringing them up, and then it doesn't feel like we're going there.
Yeah,
What's across the sea?
maybe I think it begins with an I.
Isram?
That's the one. Yeah, maybe Kai and Peyton escape the prison and then they're trying to find their way back to Ilia for some reason and they accidentally go to the other city.
Maybe. We're
They should
supposed to
have just
read
ran off.
25 through 38. This is my formal petition to ask that we read 25 through 37 so we can once again end on a kid chapter.
Granted.
You what?
Done. We've decided.
Okay.
This feels like something we have to do now.
Yeah, no, let's do that. We'll read through 37 for the next one. Any other scenes that you wanted to talk about? Moments, plot points? Stuff you loved, stuff you hated? Plot holes you wish you could fill in? Plot holes you want to dive into and make into a lake?
I think the only thing I liked about this section was the rooftop kiss.
That wasn't even in this section.
It wasn't?
That
Oh
was in
No, it
the
was last
last
section.
Jamie.
And then this whole book.
The one bed in the inn scene?
I didn't even like that one.
The
They
prison
didn't share
cell
it.
that was too small?
Eh. Oh, actually no, that was heartwarming, but I still liked the rooftop the best.
Him having an itchy nose and her having to itch it for him?
Yeah, that's cute. What else?
So cute.
Yeah,
So
they're really
cute.
cute.
I didn't write down all of the times that they were cute. Those were my top. Right. Yeah. Kai did a lot of not talking at certain moments in this section, like once he had his arms, like his hands bound. He just like kept not
Yeah.
making snarky comments. And I was like, where's the Kai that I know and love? Yeah.
He became the enforcer.
Yeah. He was sad.
He only takes off his mask for her.
Yeah. Ugh. I cannot wait for more scenes with the two of them. Let's go. Let's go. All right, I think that's it. Unless anybody has a last minute thought. No? All right, so we're reading through 37 for next time. Join us, and then we'll be finishing the book up after that. So we'll see you here for those. Bye, guys.
Bye.